All right, guys. I hope you guys are having a great week. This is video notes part 2. And did I happen to mention that I like Mountain Dew? I thought I'd say that at the beginning of this video because I could really use a Mountain Dew right now. Hint, hint. Anyway, yeah. So, I don't usually like to be redundant because I like to keep my videos short, but because this is kind of a complex topic that we're starting off with, I am going to kind of review and go over some things with you. So we learned that a negative on the front here affects the graph. The effect on the graph, the negative, is that it reflects over the, I'll let you fill that blank in. Reflects over the, okay, please fill that blank in. Next. Here, when we have a number right here, remember that it's affecting the x, okay? And remember that everything inside the parentheses is the opposite of what you think. So since it's a plus, it means that we are going to be moving to the left h units, okay? So translates left h units, whatever that number happens to be, okay? And again here, this one, it's going to translate, it's inside the parentheses, so it's going to affect the x values. So it's going to translates blank h units, okay? I'll let you fill in that blank. Here, notice that it's the k value, whatever that number happens to be, is not inside the parentheses, so it is not affecting the x, okay? It's going to affect the final outcome, which is a y. Remember, this is function notation. All of these functions are y equals. So the k value is going to affect the y value. So in this case, it's going to translates it's plus up k units, and in this case translates, go ahead and fill that in for me, k units. Okay, and now for the really confusing part, but I believe in you. I know you can get this. Okay, so notice here the a value is not inside the parentheses, it's on the front. So that means it's going to be a vertical effect. Okay, so since it's not inside of parentheses, you're going to have a vertical effect. Now, it's either going to be a stretch or compression. And the rule is, if A is somewhere between 0 and 1. I did that wrong. Got that backwards. Pretend I didn't say that. That's over here. If A is between 0 and 1, we have a compression. And if A is greater than 1, we have a stretch. Okay, whatever that number is. So if it's a 5, it's a vertical stretch. If it's 1/5, it would be a vertical compression. Now here, our b value, whatever this number happens to be, is inside the parentheses. So it's going to affect the x, okay? So that means we have a horizontal effect. Okay, now if this b value, it's either going to be a stretch or a compression. It's pretty easy to see by the graph, but if this b value is between 0 and 1, we have a stretch, and if b is greater than 1, we have a compression. Notice they're the opposite of each other. Okay, so moving on to number 8, we are graphing this function. And I have a visitor. Please excuse me for a moment. Okay, so for question number 8, it says do not use a calculator. So remember that what we're doing is we're always starting with the parent function, and the parent function goes through 0, 0. So using what we have learned about transformations, we know that this parent is moving 3 units to the right and 1 unit up. So from the origin, 3 to the right, 1 up. Okay, and then it's being reflected down. Now, it's kind of tricky, but this is something new. Our A value is -1, okay? Our number on the front is -1. And very simply, all you have to do is, you just, from your new vertex point, you're just going to go over 1, and then down 1. And since a parabola is symmetrical, we do it in the other direction as well. So we go over 1 to the left, and we apply the A value, and we go down 1. And we really only need 3 points, and we can kind of make ourselves a graph from there. 3 points to make a parabola. And I just told you what the transformations are about the vertex, and then we've already talked about that. So let's move on. So please fill out this portion at the bottom on your own. Okay. Let's go ahead and graph the vertex. So left 4, up, down 2. Now, the tricky part again is graphing this. Your A value, we have a vertical stretch here. So from here we go over 1. And remember, it's a vertical effect. So all my Y values are doubling. So we're going to go up 1, 2 units. Go over to the left, we go up 2 units. Because remember, it is symmetrical. There you go, 3 points, make a parabola. Go ahead and fill that in for me. Number 10. Given the interval of -infinity to +infinity, and what we're talking about here is, when we're talking about an interval, we're talking about the domain, which remember, your domain is left and right. Okay, so notice here we have a arrow to arrow, left to right, -infinity to +infinity. So on this interval here, what is the maximum or minimum? So maximum, that means your maximum value, which is going to be found at the vertex. Your maximum and your minimum will be found at the vertex. Okay, and it's going to be the Y coordinate. So our Y coordinate for our vertex is 1, 2, 3. So our maximum value is Y equals 3. Okay, here we can't see it very well. I tell you what, I'll get you started. Y equals, so tell me, first, is it a maximum? Like this one is a maximum. It's a maximum because the vertex is found at the top. Okay, and the value is 3. 1, 2, 3, the Y coordinate. Okay, so I want you to tell me, does this have a maximum value or a minimum value, and what is it? So please write that down right here. See you guys tomorrow.